day 125, and since I post every day, today I started with my workout, and I have to say, um, some things I realized today. So, one thing was that with the I do in the morning my stretching and these kind of things, which is really easy and gentle, easygoing. I do that now for 2 years, every day, never missed a day. And it's because my back will hurt the rest of the day if I don't do it. It's a physical therapy I collected over the years from various therapists, and I paid a lot of them. Some are in my family, so I'm in a lucky position that I created a program for me that works for my pain, so I can do it now for every day, like the last 2 years, and it really helps me. And one thing that I didn't do, or was a little bit tough to find some sport, this is like more than stretching and these kind of things, a little bit Pilates, but it was never like a workout what you do. And walking is the perfect combination to do so, especially on carnivore and when you do fasting. Walking is the best thing you can do. So the problem is, but for the last 3-4 weeks, it was impossible to go outside. It was just insane. It was just raining, storming, and it was that dangerous, really dangerous from my country to go out because people died, and there are like this big of, not ice cubes, how is it called? Damn it! Hagel? Hagel? Does it also call in English? From the skies and these kind of things. So it was tough. So at the beginning, I always went to the gym like four times, I think, in a row. But driving there, being there, coming home, it just took so much time. So yeah. But since I had a personal trainer, which is next to my office, now for 4 or 5 times, I've took one personal lesson with her in a CrossFit studio, and she showed me a lot of various how to do it and what to do. And I figured out for me personally that what works the best now, and I do it now for, well, wow, actually a week almost. And every night after eating, which is also crazy, after dinner, because when I eat meat at dinner, I feel very motivated to do sport. And it's not like, oh, I feel full, I need to rest. It's really, I feel energized. So that's, for me, it's perfect timing. I don't know why, I can't explain it. But then I do now, it's choose 4 exercises, like whatever it is that you like to do. Is it maybe a sit-up, a squat? Maybe if you have something like a water bottles or something, you can just use it as weights. You don't need anything. You can do it at home. You can watch TV. Choose just 4 exercises that you can come up. It doesn't matter what it is. And do the 10-0 method, because it's so motivating and it's really putting your energy levels through the roof. It's like you do the one exercise 10 times, then another one 10 times, and so on. And then you start over and do it 9 times, then 8, 7, 6, until you're at 1. And that's so motivating, especially when you at the lower repetitions, you just use more weight or just make it a little bit more difficult. So if, for example, if you do squats and you cannot do it, please take just a seat, a chair, and do the squat on the chair. So it's really just that a little bit of where you have to go, make it as high as you need to. Or when you want to do, I forgot the name. Damn it. Push up. You can do it just on the wall, and look up on YouTube how to do it proper, so you won't hurt yourself or it will benefit you the most. But you can really just go so gentle with your whole expertise, but just make it a habit to do so. This is the only thing you have to focus on, not to do more, not to do longer, only to implement it while you are doing something that you like. For example, when you cook and you have to wait until normally your water boils, for example, then do on the counter, just do the push-ups, for example. So it's really not that big of a height, or on the wall or on a fridge. It doesn't matter, but the most important part is to implement a habit, and you can really do it by starting with one little thing. It's like every time the water is boiling, do it. So for my son, for example, I implement, because he's saying so many times mommy, and I'm going crazy. And I say, you know what, You know what? Every time you say mommy, you're gonna do a squat. And today I think he did in maybe 30, 40 squats in total, something around that. So yeah, that's how you teach kids. So if you have kids, use it. Every time they say mommy or daddy, they should do something like, I don't know, whatever, sit up, or just run in a circle, or do a jumping jack that kids like to do. But do something that you physically can do and just implement it as a habit. And believe me, you only need one. Do it one time until you get it, and then you will get more and more and more. For me, it's watching stupid things on the television and use the time, instead of sitting on a couch, just sitting on a floor. As soon as I sit on the floor, I think like, okay, now I'm on the floor, I can do something like sit-ups, or something, just moving my legs or stretching, just sitting on the floor. The changing of perspective where you are can change so much. And also what we did one time at Christmas, and I really do recommend it. It doesn't matter how old you are, or if you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Change really something drastically just for a few couple of even minutes, and just see what your brain does. It's like we did it for Christmas. We used our food, what we had, and we just put it under the table. We ate it under the table. So we were on the floor, but under the table. And it was so much fun for my son at the time. He was 4 or 5, something around that. For me, it was one of the most memorable things we ever did on Christmas. It's the only thing I remember from Christmas, that we did that. And it was strange and fun. And it's about changing your perspective also with food, where you take your food. If you usually always put it on the table and eat it in front of the TV, you may be not really considering what you're eating, how fast, and that you're satisfied, or these kind of things. So do so. Don't change that, because I'm also a television eater, unfortunately. But maybe just change it and eat it on the floor. Or if you use it on the floor, just use a fork and a knife if you don't use that normally. Or eat with a spoon instead of a fork. Just do something that makes you think what you're doing. That's the only thing. It's so simple. That's what a lot of people also say, about brushing your teeth. Use your other hand, because that's training also your brain. So that's a little tweaks you can do, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be very fun. So yeah, that's basically what I and I always often say, I have the same weight at some point, but my body looks mushy suddenly, even if I go and walk and these kind of things, but it looks mushy. And sometimes it looks like I'm training 7 days a week, 2-3 hours in a gym. So it's drastically changing, like in a few couple of days. So of course for a woman it can be also hormonal and these kind of things. But I realized the last couple of days, since I implemented in the evening when I'm watching my trashy TV, that I implemented just a little bit of the weight training, and it's not with a lot of weight for me. I do try to once or twice a week to go to my limits, then with my CrossFit trainer or at the gym or whatever, if I can. It's not always the case, but at home I try to use as little as possible, that I can feel it, but I'm not overdoing it. So I can do it every day, because it's just not that much of a weight. But I see the big difference from yesterday and today. My body is it's getting so toned, and it's just so simple, because I'm really doing something that I enjoy the most. I'm just implementing some stuff, and that's what this is about. Just implement. And especially with the food, I never thought that why and how people can eat every day the same thing. I was like, what is wrong with these people? Are they insane? I can't even eat twice a day something that's left over that's the same. I just got disgusted. I don't know why. I was just like that. But right now, every day I'm looking forward for my ground beef with my sheep cheese. That's what I'm preaching here. I don't know why it is, but it's just the ground beef. And for me, it's 50-50, 50 pork and 50 beef. Try to avoid the pork if you can. I can't because of the histamine. Watch my 100 millions of video where I explained it. But I just use the salt, and I use rosemary fresh that I grew myself. So, and some this sheep cheese, which is light, because if it's full fat sheep cheese, I tend to overeat. With the light version, it's just a perfect combination. So I found this dish for me, for now 100 a day, possibly, something around that. Sometimes I add a filet steak, but it's okay. It's too expensive meat, but I like the cheap ones, so perfect. You know, jackpot. My son loves rump steak the most. So we all have our little things that we love the most. And if you find something that you really enjoy, that's the most important part, because people also on carnivore say you shouldn't enjoy your food, you just should eat it. I really heard now a lot of people say that to people. So no, hell no. You should really find also something that you enjoy, but it's still in a world that you can manage and it gives you the energy and it helps you heal. If you feel bad by eating that, then it's the wrong thing. Then you have just to take a little bit more time to find what it is in the end, especially when it's, you know, expensive versus cheap meat. And I can tell you in the beginning, I was thinking that filet steak, which cost, you know, I think 1 kilo costs around 60-70 euros, it's just not affordable, you know, to eat that every day. And I hated these ribeye steak. I hate it. I can't eat it. And I was thinking, you know, how should I manage that? It's the only thing I like to eat, until I found this one particular ground beef with this combination of the sheep cheese, and that made the trick for me. That made the trick, and as soon as I eat it, I'm full of energy. Easy going, no problemo. Perfecto. That's how this goes. So I totally will encourage you to find and experiment until you find your ground beef sheep cheese mix that you enjoy every day, because it is out there for you. It is, believe me, it is. For me, I also implement now berries only from my garden, only because the videos that are showing up what's happening in America with the whole fruit thing is ridiculous. And for me, so as a woman in IT, I will really encourage you to never believe what you see on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, YouTube especially, and so on. Because, for example, these Biden videos, most of them are there are the videos from him, from interviews, but they are making AI versions of these situations. One, for example, where he just got a little bit lost in an interview, and you see him on the original, you see him going from stage and being a little bit lost. And a lot of people created such realistic AI situations where he was tracking then an ice cream truck and just get lost and was tracking the ice cream truck, that even I believe that's real, that really happened, and these kind of things. So really be careful with that, because especially these interviews with people who are talking about nutrition, what is happening in the world and so on, it's really taken. Be careful, because sometimes it's really deep fake videos that I saw. It's awful. It's even stuff from Elon Musk, what he said, which he didn't say ever, because it's only his voice and they deep faked it. So you cannot consume any kind of content. It's really hardcore. And if you have any doubts, look at the comments, read the comments of every video and see if really a lot of people are saying, oh, that happened also to me and so on. Then, okay, I will agree that you can maybe believe it or look it up if you can Google it in the end. So that's important, because these rubber fruits in America showed up. This situation, I don't know if you already realized that a lot of people are having rubber fruits suddenly, even the banana and the avocado, and the videos are really horrifying and really bad. And if you look at the videos, I was skeptical and I was trying to figure out if somebody brought an article or something about it, because that's such a big and huge topic. Every reporter will go and find out what is happening there, but there wasn't anything. So that's what made me skeptical about this whole situation. But reading the comments, it seemed like it was really happening a lot of times. But you have to keep in mind, it's a grocery store. So everybody can just put and smuggle also something on that, like, you know, rubber thing, and make a joke out of it. That's what happened with the cornfield symbols. Look that up. Really cool story, how the corn symbols, you know, started and who actually did it in the end. And it came out, I don't know, 50-60 years later. Then, you know, when they died, they figured out what happened, and everybody was thinking it's aliens. So it's really, be careful with all kind of information that you receive and just make your own experiences. But for me, especially knowing the whole fruit situation with the pesticides and these kind of things, I felt it. I felt it. We were eating, all of us three, different kind of fruits over a couple of last weeks, and it really affected us badly. Badly, and I'm talking about raspberries, blueberries, and strawberries. We have that now in my garden. I'm growing it myself, like a ton of them. And I don't have any kind of reaction to them. So no, not vegetables and fruits and these kind of things are trying to kill us. It's really the fucking food industry, which makes me really annoying. So just keep that in mind. And that's why I'm also growing my own rosemary and just use it for cooking, because rosemary and ground beef, baby, mwah, delicious. That's the best combination. Keep in mind what Adam also said, salt did affect him badly. Bella, Steak and Butter Gal, also said salt made her not good. So if you have still issues, try just for a day, maybe cut the salt and see if you feel any difference. So keep that in mind. It's not only beef salt water. And also, I'm sorry to burst the bubbles, but the water, if it's not filtered, can also cause you problems, especially when it's maybe too cold or too bubbly. So the meat can cause you histamine. So you really need to keep that in mind, because people are fast to say carnivore is shit and it's bad, but they are not committed to try and to find. And you really need to have these commitments to be able to navigate through a lot of shit and find this thing out. And I do understand why people gave up at some point. I do understand that. For me, it's just, and I cannot say it's not about the healing part. Really, it's not. For me, about sticking to the carnivore diet is because I fucking enjoy it. I love it. And I had meat aversions. I hated meat. I was vegan because I loved vegan food. So I don't know what happened in my brain, but it clicked. And I just love and enjoy and look forward for my ground beef. And if I cannot have it, I'm gonna go mad. And my little pork fat trim sometimes and these kind of things. So it's just about, are you committed to find solutions? Do you see the benefit? For me, sport-wise, I was not the sportiest person on the planet, At some point I did have my peaks, but I never was like really this people I am surrounded with who since they're little they're doing sport. I never did sport. I ate. That was my sport, I was having big muscles because I was eating constantly. But I just sit in front of the TV. So for me, even having the motivation to do some kind of sport is worth it, and not having the stomach pains and the bloatings and really, really awful situations with the stomach part. I don't have that on carnivore most of the time, until I eat something that I'm not used to, or the histamine is just through the roof, or it's just something that I'm not good working with, or I'm eating too much fat, and I'm not that fat adapted. I am until now. Fat adapted means that you implement fat a little bit, so at some point you can really eat it and not have problems. Because if you eat just a lot of bunch of fat, or suddenly eat from vegan to carnivore and eat just a big meat, maybe you will have reactions because your body doesn't know what to do with it. You need to give it a time. And I know how hard it is, but that's why I'm saying, if you cannot manage it and you are not happy with the journey, because my last video also showed a woman who said, she wasn't sleeping, she wasn't doing good on carnivore, and now she's having sugar and rice and these kind of things. If this works for you, go for it. It's only important that it's your journey and it works for you. But if you see that something doesn't work for you, or you feel bad about it, you need to invest the time to figure out what it is. I'm sorry, it is what it is. Life is not that easy, never, with nothing. We can't, I can't say anything else. So I will now just, I'm full of energy, to be honest. I'm really full of energy. Don't know what to do. Maybe, it's hot. I don't know, maybe go outside. But I'm not motivated to be outside, to be honest. So I don't know. We will figure it out. And that's basically it. And happy to see you tomorrow, like always. And let me know what you are doing for fun.